Imagine a human body, preserved in a glass case for nearly a century, looking like they just dozed off yesterday. No high-tech tricks or ancient mummies here, just something that happened in 1879 that leaves scientists scratching their heads. This is the story of Saint Bernadette, and it's about to flip your world upside down. Pope Leo XIV just dropped a bombshell statement that's got everyone buzzing, Catholic or not. Trust me, this will mess with your head in the wildest way. Quick question, do you believe in miracles? Like, real deal, life-changing ones? Because after this, you might. Oh, I have a small favor to ask. If you haven't already, please take a second to like and subscribe to be part of our growing community. Let's dive in. It's 1858, in a tiny French town called Lourdes, barely a dot on the map. Meet Bernadette Soubirous, a 14-year-old girl who had it tough. Her family was so poor they lived in an old jail cell. One room, that's it. She couldn't read, could barely breathe from asthma, and had survived cholera, a disease that killed most back then. By all accounts, she was a nobody. But then, something crazy happened. One day, while gathering firewood near a grotto, Bernadette saw her, a stunning woman in white and blue, glowing like nothing she'd ever seen. If a kid told you they saw a glowing figure in a cave today, you'd probably roll your eyes. So did everyone else. But this wasn't a one-off. This woman appeared to Bernadette 18 times over months. Crowds grew, some to mock, some curious, others hoping it was real. The town wasn't thrilled. Authorities dragged this teen in for questioning, threatening jail to make her admit she was lying. But Bernadette? She never budged. Not once. Picture that, a 14-year-old standing firm against cops, priests, and the whole town calling her nuts. Most of us would crack in minutes, she didn't. Then it gets wilder. The woman told Bernadette to dig in the dirt by the grotto. Imagine this girl, on her knees, clawing through mud while hundreds watched, probably thinking she'd lost it. But then, water bubbled up. A spring that wasn't there before. And not just any water. People claimed it healed them, blind folks saw, paralyzed folks walked. Straight out of a movie, right? The woman finally said who she was, I am the Immaculate Conception. Here's the kicker, Bernadette had no clue what that meant. She was illiterate, never heard the term. But when the local priest heard it, he freaked. That phrase was a big deal Catholic teaching, only made official 4 years earlier. How does an uneducated kid know that? And the miracles? They kept coming. Even while Bernadette was alive, people were healed through her in ways that defy explanation. Picture this, a baby, so sick with tuberculosis that doctors had given up hope. They thought the end was near. But then, someone placed a simple piece of cloth, embroidered by a young woman named Bernadette, on the child. Just like that, the baby was healed. Completely. No trace of the disease. This wasn't some fairy tale, it was real, and it's just the start of a story that'll leave you stunned. Let's keep going. Another time, a little girl who couldn't walk was brought to Bernadette, who was now living in a convent, under strict orders from her superiors. Against all rules, Bernadette gently set the child on the ground. And then? That girl jumped up and started running like she'd never been sick a day in her life. The crowd must have been speechless. But hold on, because it gets even crazier. During one of those mysterious appearances of the glowing woman Bernadette kept seeing, something wild happened. Bernadette was holding a lit candle, and suddenly, the flame swallowed her entire hand. We're talking fire covering her hand for 15 minutes while hundreds of people stood there, jaws dropped. When the flame finally died down, her hand. Not a single burn. No redness, no mark, perfect, like the fire never touched her. Try holding your hand over a candle for even 5 seconds. You wouldn't dare. Yet Bernadette stood there, untouched, like she was protected by something beyond this world. Sadly, Bernadette's life wasn't easy. She only lived to 35, battling tuberculosis in a convent, quietly offering her pain for others. She passed away on April 16, 1879. You'd think that'd be the end of her story, right? A young woman sees visions, performs miracles, dies young, and gets buried. Case closed. Except it wasn't. Fast forward to 1909, to 30 years after her death. The Catholic Church decided to dig up her body as part of the process to make her a saint. They expected what you'd expect after 3 decades in a grave: bones, maybe some scraps of cloth, nothing more. 2 doctors, Dr. David and Dr. Jordan, were there to check whatever was left. What they found. It changed everything. Bernadette's body looked like she'd been buried for a week, tops. Her skin was soft, like you could pinch it. Her muscles were still intact. Her fingernails perfectly preserved. There was no smell of decay, no sign of rot, nothing. It was like death just skipped her. These weren't some starry-eyed believers, either. These were serious, respected doctors with no reason to make this up. The church wasn't ready to call it a miracle just yet. So, in 1919, now 40 years after her death, they dug her up again. This time, 2 other doctors, Talon and Compen, took a look. Same story. Her body was still flawless. Her heart, liver, every organ, still intact, still flexible, like she'd just taken her last breath. Dr. Compen, a professional not prone to exaggeration, wrote in his report that what he saw was impressive and not natural. That's Dr. Speak for, this is impossible. Let's put this in perspective. Bodies don't last underground. After a few weeks, decay sets in, skin rots, organs break down, and the smell is unbearable. After 40 years, you're lucky to find bones. But Bernadette? Her body defied every rule of nature. Just to be sure, they checked one last time in 1925, 46 years after her death. Dr. Compen was back for this final look, and guess what? Nothing had changed. Her body was still there, untouched by time, like she was sleeping peacefully in that glass case where she rests today. This isn't just a story, it's a mystery that science can't crack. A young girl, poor and uneducated, saw visions, sparked miracles, and even in death, her body refuses to decay. Whether you believe in miracles or not, Bernadette's story will make you wonder, is there something bigger out there, something we can't explain? Dr. Compen, a seasoned physician, stood over Bernadette's body in 1925, 46 years after her death, and what he saw left him speechless. Her muscles were still flexible, her body perfectly intact, like she was just resting. It wasn't just unusual, it was beyond anything science could explain. The only change? A slight darkening of her face and hands from air exposure. So, they gently coated those areas with a thin layer of wax to protect her. And that's how she looks today, nearly a century later, lying in a crystal casket in Nevers, France, since August 3, 1925. People from every corner of the globe, scientists, skeptics, believers, flock to see her, and they all leave with the same feeling, an overwhelming sense of peace, like they're standing in the presence of something sacred. Now, you might be wondering, okay, that's incredible, but what does it mean for us today? Let's talk about that spring Bernadette uncovered back in 1858, when she dug in the dirt as the glowing woman instructed. That spring. It's still flowing in Lourdes, France. And people are still being healed by it. The Catholic Church has officially confirmed 70 miracles tied to that water, 70 cases where cancer vanished, paralyzed people leapt to their feet, and the blind could suddenly see. These aren't vague, I feel better, stories. We're talking life or death turnarounds that leave doctors stunned. Here's how it works, every claimed miracle goes through intense scrutiny. Teams of doctors, many with no religious bias, run every test imaginable. They compare medical records before and after, digging for any rational explanation. When they find none, when every expert agrees it's impossible, only then does the church call it a miracle. But that's just the official count. Thousands more, thousands, claim healings through Bernadette's intercession that don't make the official list. Every year, 6 million pilgrims journey to Lourdes. That's more people than live in some countries. They come with their pain, their prayers, their last shreds of hope. And so many leave transformed, physically, emotionally, spiritually. Why does this matter now? Because Pope Leo XIV, the leader of 1.4 billion Catholics, just made a bold statement about Bernadette's incorrupt body. In a world where science often clashes with faith, where doubt is louder than ever, he stood up and said, "This is real. Science can't explain it, but it's happening. This isn't some dusty legend from the Middle Ages. This is unfolding in our modern, high-tech world, right now, in 2025. It's a challenge to everyone, believer or skeptic, to look at Bernadette's story and ask, what if there's more to life than what we can measure? But here's what hits me hardest about Bernadette. It's not the jaw-dropping healings or her body-defying decay. It's that she was so ordinary. A poor, sick, uneducated girl from a nowhere town, living in a former jail cell. She wasn't a scholar or a saint in the making, she was just a kid. Yet, something divine chose her to carry a message that's still shaking the world. She once said, "The Virgin used me like a broom to sweep up, then put me back in the corner." That's humility. That's power. Think about your own life for a moment. Ever feel like you're too small, too ordinary, too overlooked to matter? Bernadette's story screams that you're wrong. Her preserved body isn't just a scientific puzzle, it's a sign. It's like a divine signature saying, her visions were real. Her miracles were true. And the hope she brought? It's still here for you. When you see her face, untouched after nearly 150 years, you're not just looking at a body. You're looking at a promise, that death isn't the end, that love outlasts the grave, that miracles aren't locked in the past, they're alive today. Picture standing in front of that crystal casket in Nevers. You're staring at a girl who saw the impossible, who sparked healings that defy logic, whose body laughs in the face of decay. You feel that peace washing over you, like a whisper that there's something bigger out there. Maybe it's God. Maybe it's hope. Maybe it's a call to open your heart to the impossible. So, what's next? If this story lights even a tiny spark in you, share it. Tell someone who needs a reason to hope. Drop a comment, where are you watching from? Has this changed how you see miracles? Do you believe the impossible could happen in your life? If you're hungry for more stories that challenge what we think we know, hit that subscribe button and tap the bell so you don't miss a thing. Bernadette's story isn't just about a girl from 1858. It's about you. The same force that preserved her body, that healed the sick, that turned a nobody into a messenger of miracles, that force sees you. It knows you. It's ready to work wonders in your life, if you let it. Keep hoping. Keep believing. And keep your eyes open for the impossible. Thanks for joining me on this wild ride, let's do it again soon.